lessons. Every single day we have some kind of cooking going on. And today we're blending, not cooking. We're processing, we have no heat involved. What we're going to make is a classic pesto sauce, which I love, one of my most favorite things in the whole universe. And I will tell you, I have made vats of this stuff, vats of it. Once upon a time, I used to have a catering business, and this was like the biggest thing. And pesto is one of those things that you can make in advance, throw it into the freezer, and take it out as you need it. You can even put them into ice cube trays. You can make it dairy-free. I'm going to show you how to do a classic one, but this is completely 100% sprint worthy. Just take the Parmesan out. How do you like that? Because we start the sprint on Monday, and if you don't know what that is, go to SavingDinner.com. You'll see it right when you get there. It's a free program, an anti-inflammatory diet for 7 days to help us lose that COVID-19. 15. A lot of people have gained some weight. I've had some emails. Anyway, let's make some pesto. I'm going to show you how to do it. Honestly, it can be done without a recipe, but I'm going to kind of throw some ingredient numbers or some measurement numbers at you, just so you have a good idea of what you're doing. All right? The first thing is you need pine nuts. Now, pine nuts are expensive. No doubt about it. They're expensive, but it is a pantry staple that I love to see you put into your pantry because they have a delicious buttery flavor. And if you're smart, you will toast them first because that brings out their butteriness and their toastedness. They're just really wonderful. And they have good high fat, quality high fat, and they're good for you. You need about a half a cup. Now, if you do put them in the toaster oven or bake them or whatever, watch them like a hawk because they'll go from being golden brown to black in 2 seconds, okay? So watch them like a hawk. That's how we do it. So you start with about a half cup of toasted pine nuts. Then you're going to get some garlic. Back to our little garlic thingy. You're going to give it, even though we're going to process it, we're going to go ahead and give it a little squish. Just makes it a little easier. Okay, I'm going to grab a spoon for that. And I'm going to put all of it in here because it's just, easily going to be processed up, and don't let any of it go to waste. So you need about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, and as you can see, I went the 3 route because to me there's no such thing as too much garlic. All right? Next up is about 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan. And again, if you're going to be doing this for the sprint, which believe me is a fantastic idea and a great way to get all of that wonderful flavor in, you can put it on vegetables, you can put it on any of your protein. It's delicious. You can put it on pasta, of course, but I'm talking about people who are doing the sprint. But this is classic on pesto. Pesto is classic on pasta. And then the last thing is you're going to do a little salt and pepper. You go ahead and get that in. And it's about a teaspoon of salt. I always go with just a little bit less, simply because you can always add more. You can't take it away, right? And then the other part of it is the basil leaves. This has to be fresh basil. And you need to make sure that you've just got the leaf, not any of the stem. The stem is bitter. So you remember how I've told you before that when you're doing anything like you're doing cilantro for guacamole or anything like that, you want to make sure that you have stems in it, but not for basil. I'm going to give you some to do. I just handed some to Mark. Mark's a basil puller. And then if you get a leaf that looks like this, let me show you, with all that black on it, you don't want to use it. When it's black like this, that means that it's starting to go, and you just like set that aside. But again, we want to pull it right, not even a little leaf stem out. We don't want any of that. All of it needs to go. And if you see little buds at the top, sometimes you'll see buds, don't grab that, but you can grab the little tiny leaves. This is one of those recipes that absolutely 100% has to be made with fresh basil. I love getting it at Trader Joe's because it's so inexpensive, and I love growing it because it grows really, really well. Years ago when I had a little farm, we grew huge basil like this. I went out into my field just before the first frost, dug it up, stuck it in a big, huge clay planter that I had, and brought it inside the house, and believe it or not, it made it. So that was really nice. Get your basil all in there. Just make sure, be meticulous about making sure that there are no stems in there. And then, of course, you're washing it. I just use it, keep it on my paper towel and do it like this. Now, some people add the basil at the very, very end and have everything running at the same time. But to me, it just like, really doesn't matter. We just want it done, right? So you can also do, some people use walnuts instead of the pine nuts, or with the pine nuts. I find that walnuts can be a little bit too bitter and take away from the creamy, fresh taste of the basil. That's just personal, but you can use walnuts instead. But I still say pine nuts are classic, and that's what you should be using. You can also try this with cilantro, and what a great flavor that has. Any fresh herbs like that is pretty magnificent. So we're looking at about 3 cups of basil leaves here. That's about right. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and put it on and process. Oh, it smells good. Now, the olive oil, I'm going to tell you, first of all, if you haven't tried the Fresh Pressed Olive Club, they will send you a taster, a smaller bottle than this, for $1. That's all that you have to do. Go to fresh44.com. That's my special link, and they will send that to you because I told you to. But it's fantastic. Fresh 44, the number 44. Ooh, found one. Yeah, if you find some leaves, go ahead and just grab them and stick them in. The more the merrier. What? Yes?
Just a quick refresher for people that came in late. They want to know what's all in the blender.
Everything in here is the raw ingredients for pesto. We've got pine nuts, garlic, salt, pepper, Parmesan cheese, and tons of fresh basil. And now I'm going to finish this off. And you're adding about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. Oh, you should smell this. Can you smell it from there? There you go, love. Isn't that so?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So this is beautiful, and in lieu of a spatula, I'm just going to use the back of a knife just to put this down a minute, and just do one more little blend. You want this well blended. There it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Now you can make this up to a day in advance. But you're going to want to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil over the top of it to keep it from turning brown. And use an excellent quality, this is our fresh pressed olive oil. We use fresh pressed olive oil from the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. We've used this for, I don't know, 10 years, going on 10 years now. And they, like I said, they always have a special offer for people who are new to the club. And just go to Fresh 44 and you can pick up your bottle. I have to tell you, I love this stuff. It's the most amazing stuff. I've used it for years, and I'm completely spoiled. This is excellent olive oil. So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is that these new supplements of ours, the Body Clutter Wise Women supplements, we've got CalMag, CoQ10, vitamin D, and a B complex with methylated folate and B12, are flying off the shelf. If you want to get yours, grab it now. It's called the Core 4. You can get all 4 of them together. We've got a bundle price, 10% off. If you go to savingdinner.com/wise, you can find out all about them, plus all the links for all the studies and the reasons why These I consider the core 4 supplements that everyone needs. And I've got this here. You're going, well, why is the probiotic there? If you throw this in, which will 7% of your body's immune system is in your gut. You've got to feed it healthy stuff. That's what this does. And this is our proactive probiotic. If you throw this in along with the core 4 and write ships free in the promo code, we will send it to you free. Shipping is on us. You don't pay. As long as you live in the United States. That's what I have for you today. This is incredible. Yes?
Quick question, to do that with a NutriBullet?
You can do it with a NutriBullet. I've done it with a NutriBullet. Just a couple of
A
things.
little cumbersome with the olive oil.
It's a little bit, yeah, it's a little harder with the olive oil because it's like any blender. But you just need to make sure, first of all, the garlic, you've pressed the garlic already. You've toasted your seeds, as you saw me do. And then you're looking at about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. You saw me just free pouring it. I've made this so many times, I don't measure any of it. I don't measure the pine nuts, I don't measure nothing. But it's because I've done it so many times. But that's why I was telling you, giving you the measurements on this whole thing. But what you would do then is go ahead and do it just exactly like I did. And I would pour in about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of olive oil, process it, take a look at it, and then add the remainder of the olive oil. You want a nice creamy texture. You don't want it crumbly. It's a sauce. You need it to be like a sauce.
Nobody's asking, but would be helpful. Where would you use pesto besides pasta?
You can use it on chicken, fish, vegetables. You can use it on anything. You could even put it on rice if you want to. The other thing is that it just freezes so beautifully. I would do it without the cheese for the freezing part, just simply because it's easy. It's just basically olive oil, nuts, and basil and garlic at that point. And then when you thaw it out, you can go ahead and add the cheese in. Is that all the questions? How do you like that? So get this made, you guys. Take advantage of the fact that there's some really good fresh basil available now. If you've got fresh basil growing, you are a blessed woman indeed. It's one of those most wonderful tasting things. To me, it tastes like summer. Oh, another thing that I really love is fresh sliced tomatoes with a little drizzle of pesto over the top. Can't beat that. It's the taste of summer. And it's going to be warm. It's May 1st and I'm freezing because it's chilly here. But it's promising to warm up nicely here in a couple of days. So I'll be back tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm making, but you know what? Stay tuned. We always have something good coming. And don't forget, if you want to get these supplements and you want to get them free, put your proactive probiotic in the cart, put ships free in the promo window, and it's all yours. That's it. Peace out. See you later.